Going
It's
live.
9,180.
I'm glad.
Oh, yes, guys. Should be live. Welcome, everyone, to yet another edition of DCA. As you can see, we have CTO, we have James with us today. And also, if you look at the Bitcoin chart, you see something very, very good. You see, holy crap, it is also accelerating. It was just 49, now it is 49.2. And yeah, it's going faster and faster. That's why this stream is called that all-time high soon, because really when you look at it and when you zoom out, and we will be speaking about this soon as well, there is not a lot of resistance left until the all-time high. I mean, we're now handling this like 40, 49, 50k resistance, but then it is all-time high. So we have obviously a lot to discuss. We have a lot to speak about. Welcome, James. Welcome, CTO. How has the week been since the last stream for you guys?
It's been, well, the week has been incredible. I mean, I was just looking at my brokerage account, even though a large part of it is Tesla, like it's gone up nearly 40% just in the last 5 days. And a big thank you as well in the brokerage account is because of things like MicroStrategy and Bitcoin miners. I mean, you think Bitcoin's on fire? Check out the miners. 2 weeks ago, one called Clean Spark was at $6 and change. Now it's heading to $17, and that's in 2 weeks. So everything is on fire. It's a really good time, but I think I made a video which is very controversial, but I said a lot of the action happens kind of 75 days before the halving and then 90 days after the halving, and we're in that window right now. What do you think, CTO?
Yeah, it's what a week, guys. What a week. Let me share the chart. Let me share it. Because I feel that the mistake that many people are doing, they're overanalyzing, they're overthinking, while actually it's been really simple the entire year. And we've said it here on the channel, guys. The trend turned up in the beginning of 2023. It's still up. We've cleared all the resistance levels. The next major resistance is all-time high. The trend through all this ETF drama and everything, it's been up the whole time. Nothing changed. It's still up. It's been up. It's moving up towards the next major all-time high. And I felt that we talked about that also, right? If we should go into one more level of detail, it was really the GBTC outflows. If they would have accelerated, it could have been a problem. Did they accelerate? No, they slowed down instead. That's what happened. And then inflow, continues. Price goes up. That's it. There's no need to overcomplicate it, guys. It's clear as day. The trend is up. Happy life. 49,400.
400. Crazy.
Crazy.
49.5. Yeah.
Yeah. We were just discussing. Yeah, we were just discussing that a lot of people are watching these shows, just like CTO spoke about Bozo some weeks back, and now ERC 404 is like the biggest new standard that everyone is hyping up. Maybe someone is watching this channel, and as we share the bullishness, they do put in some buy orders, as we are seeing on the chart. James, you were saying?
Yeah, I want to talk about a little bit of TA while CTO is here. The psychological levels in markets, for example, $100. When something breaks $100, it goes very quickly above that. And we have the same thing now with Bitcoin with $50,000. Can you explain the significance of what happens, CTO Larsen, after we break 50,000? Because last time we hit 47,000, it hit a new all-time high within 41 days. Can you talk about the potential of that exponential move? And it's happened before, and it happened before without ETFs.
Oh, absolutely. Why does technical analysis work? Why does support and resistance work? If you look here on this one, see how many times something happened at the same price. Say how many times here, how many times here. Why does it work? Why does support and resistance work? It's because there are people behind and people remember the prices. Yeah. There's like psychology involved here. That's why it worked 100 years ago when someone formulated these principles for completely different types of assets. That's why it works today for Bitcoin in 2024. It's because there are people and people don't change. So if you bought something at one price you're more likely to do something at that price again. If price goes there again, you might sell or you might buy more. Same thing with major price points, 50,000. People are sitting there thinking it's never going to break 50,000. But then if it does, if it breaks 50,000, people mind are blown. Oh, it actually broke 50,000. Then it will go to, 60,000. Then they take more likely to take action, even though, 50,000 is no different. If it was AI doing this, it wouldn't matter if it was 50,000 or 48,123. But because it's people still behind much of the decisions, that's why the key levels work. So 50,000 will matter. All-time high will matter. If it breaks all-time high, a bunch of other people will FOMO back in and so on and so forth.
But in terms of your prediction, again, there's a lot more money and there's a lot more scarcity right now. We went from 47 to 67 in 41 days.
Oh, absolutely.
Do you think we could do it in 30 days this time once we break that 50? And the other thing about 50K is once we break 50K, then the traditional markets and the mainstream media start posting that number because they're better with round numbers than 47,650 or something.
Oh, yeah.
And then everybody says $50,000 for the scam coin. Uh-oh. I remember
exactly,
it was
what happened. A good way to approach something like Bitcoin is not how much is it worth. How much is a Bitcoin worth? It's very difficult to answer. A better way to approach this is to study the behaviors of the buyers and the behaviors of the sellers. That's why the GBTC outflows was relevant to study. Now, if price starts looking like this, as we see here in the chart, who wants to sell right now? Who is sitting here thinking that, oh, this looks garbage, I better sell? I think not so many people. So if price keeps going consistently up, fewer and fewer people are selling. I'm not saying if it's right or wrong. I'm just explaining how most people will reason. So fewer and fewer people are interested in selling, while more and more people are feeling the FOMO. They didn't buy at 16,000. They didn't buy at 20,000. They didn't buy at 25. They didn't buy at 30. They feel the panic. They feel I have to buy now. This is my last chance. So more and more of those people, fewer and fewer of the sellers. And then who knows what the price can do. Absolutely. I agree. It can happen.
And speaking about the speed, you mentioned the speed, James.
Yes.
I love this past cycle, what we had here. So, around here in October 2020, the price was 10K. Now, some people like us here on this channel were bullish. So around this time when Bitcoin was 10K, we were saying, hey, listen, it's going to go to 20, 30, maybe even 50K, okay? And people at that time in 2020 October were saying, guys, you are lunatics. You're lunatics. It's 10K. It's likely going to get rejected here and go back to 3K, going to get destroyed. But look here, about the speed again. From October 2020 at 10K to basically here, like February, look here, February 2021, from October to February, it's not many months, it's not many weeks. It did like a 6x, it went to 60K, from 10K here to 60K within a few months. And this is not even all-time high. This was just another like significant level of 10K that we broke. It took a few weeks to grind to all-time high. I think we are right now in a similar position. We have a significant level. It's 50K. We're going to grind back to all-time high. And that's when the real teleport starts after all-time high, because that's really a price discovery. But this is the kind of time frame which will hit. And also, as you say, CTO, everyone who is on the sidelines will start FOMOing in. Retail who is not here will start FOMOing in. All the institutions who are on the sidelines, they see the ETF, they say ETF is not going to work out. They say that, yeah, it's just, with GBTC outflows, just, recycling of money. There are a lot of such people that are still not in. Once we get to 50K and above, that's when they will also FOMO in. And that's when this insane teleports start happening. Where
we're $300. We're $300 and 50K right now.
Exactly. Any moment, guys.
Mad.
Before we get into more Bitcoin stuff, because we have a lot, you, James, shared some on-chain stats we're going to go into. We have a lot to discuss. James, tell us about what happened with your Twitter, because I think it's so important for everyone to know that you can't be hacked on
Yeah.
Twitter, even if you have 2FA, YubiKey, and I've seen it several times. People write about it on online that they've been hacked despite 2FA. So what happened if we just to spend maybe 3-5 minutes on this?
Yeah, first of all, everybody, security is everything. And, if I can be hacked, anybody can be hacked. And they are making clear targets of people who are into Bitcoin. So I can give you the list. Robert Breedlove, Jason Lowry, myself, Lawrence Lepard got hacked 40 minutes after I got my account back. 40 minutes. Now, I analyzed everything that they did and how they did it. Everything happened in about 12 minutes. So they're very quick, very orchestrated, very professional. And there's a lot more to it. So I will be doing a dedicated video on how they overcame it, but I don't have the exact answer now how they bypassed my YubiKey. It is very strange, but there are things that can maybe happen somehow on the back end to kind of clear cache or remember cookies. Like, I'm out of my depth here. I'm not a security guy, but something very strange is happening, and I want people to be extremely careful. But I'm very grateful to have it back. and it's funny. And thank you, Ivan, as well, for all your support, and CTO as well behind the scenes. There was a big outpouring of support for people that get hacked because you feel violated, naked when you know somebody is in your stuff and you know somebody's using you to scam people. Fortunately, I made like 4 videos. I was warning every single day. So, and I've been warning for a long time. Don't click on anything, And the other good thing about the scammers is they might be technically very good, but even with GPT and everything else, they don't write in, how I would write. The style is so different. Everybody said, that's not him. That's definitely a scam. And then
Yeah.
everybody analyze anything you get. Don't click on anything from email. Look at the sender address. Even if you look at the URL of a scam link, there's so many red flags and signs are still there. But the danger is now they're at such a level that within 1 or 2 years, they'll be really, really, really good, and they'll be able to get in everywhere. So everybody lock your security down. We'll do a dedicated security on this real soon video, maybe with you guys too
But
as well.
even if you have 2FA, you have done everything,
Yeah,
like you yourself,
yeah.
you have YubiKey, like there's not much else to do. And either there is a bug in Twitter, because the only way this can happen in my mind is in case you set up YubiKey, but there is still a way on Twitter backend to ignore it. And somehow they found a way. If that's the case, there should be some white hat hacker that makes a name of themselves by exposing it and like contacting Twitter and writing blogs about it after they've responsibly disclosed to Twitter. Or it could be corruption also on Twitter's end, because as this market heats up and as the bull market starts, like I am prepared to get hacked also, because like there's nothing to do. if they know how to bypass it, whether by corruption on Twitter or by some back-end bug, it's gonna happen sooner or later to everyone.
Yeah.
Ciccio, what do you think
because
happened?
it could be social engineering, right? You keep calling customer service with a sob story. You lost all your hardware keys, but you have access to the email and phone or whatever they have managed to hack, and say, it is really me and it's urgent. Please, reset my password, and I promise to be more careful. The first 9 people say no. The 10th one believe you and say, sure, I'll help you. I'll set it up. I'll send, a password reset to whatever they managed to hack first. I think, and same with the SIM swap. Like SIM swap, we have talked about it here many times. Especially in the US, it seems impossible almost to protect from it. And, they're going to walk into the store 10 times, 20 times, 30 times with someone who looks very honest. And sooner or later, someone is going to believe them, new on the job, something like that. And they're going to help them. The person who said that I lost my SIM card and I really need to call my mother now urgently. They're going to help transfer the number to a new SIM card. They walk out, they've taken over.
Because that's what
your
happened,
SIM
James, right? Like you reset your phone and then you asked, how the hell do you know that I'm not a hacker? And the guy was like, I don't.
It was really funny. Yeah. Anyway.
But anyway, be extremely careful. It can happen to anyone. And just like Carl Demoon says in the chat, we are pushing now 50K almost, guys. It's $300 to go. Let's go into some on-chain data. Over to you, James, about these two things. Let's start with the UTXO bands and the UTXO age, and then we have the HODL wave as well.
Well, the interesting thing about that UTXO chart right now, and it's courtesy of Glassnode. Let me pull up my notes. Is that a lot of people? Let me see, which one are you sharing? This one, yes, the RP. What this basically says here is, I got to make sure I get it right. Those that bought back at the tops in 2021, most of the buying was done at this level, and they have held. The key level you're looking at here in the chart is 48,000, and they waited almost 3 years to see it again. So, sometimes the key for these people that kind of are top buyers is to hold when you can. And the most important thing, though, is to DCA in when things go down. So if you still have commitment to your thesis and the asset, when things get cheap, you get more, and then you lower your cost basis. And that's a big part of what this show is about. And that's the key here. But the good news is the huge amount of people actually held, and they had belief, and they're not letting go. And that's the key part of that whole story, is the fact that people think, oh, everybody's going to sell. No. These are people that held, they bought at 50K, they probably bought at 65K. They didn't sell for 3 years, and they saw it go all the way down to 15.5. And now they watch it all the way up. Do you think they're going to sell now after waiting for 3 years? No. And that's the good thing. And also, when you look at the actual supply, just these 9 new ETFs, they are buying 14 times the actual annual daily supply that's being issued. 14 times, just 9 ETFs. And that assumes, by the way, the miners are selling everything, and the miners have flipped. They start accumulating again because they know the prices are going up. So they're holding on for dear life, literally themselves. And there's everybody else around the world is buying too. And in fact, Cathie Wood just came out, and her idea of the optimal allocation, it's kind of like breaking news. Shout out to Sanjay as well if he's there. But she had something like, checking my notes here, I think 8.6% optimal allocation. I'll share that slide. No, 6.96%. So if you look at the ARK W fund from Cathie Wood, their top position is, I think, number 2 position is Tesla, top position is Coinbase, number 3 or 4 position is the ARK Bitcoin ETF. So they have extreme conviction in Bitcoin and where it's going. 6-7%. So when money managers look at that allocation, it's like, oh my God, one of the best, well, at least best analysts in the space is allocating 7% towards a spot ETF. That'll make everybody stand to attention.
And like we talked about many times, there must be funds sitting now asking, what should the allocation percentage be to digital assets? And they will all come up with different answers. But I am certain that at least many of them, the answer will not be 0. And right now it's 0. So they have to go from 0 to something. And that means they will need to buy.
Yeah.
And also you shared this one, James, that 80% of Bitcoin basically haven't changed hands in the last 6 months, which is
79.26. But yes, you can call it 80%. And the other fascinating thing about this, and I've been talking about this for a long time, is the nature of the beast that is Bitcoin. People who understand have done the work. They know where fiat is going, and they know they need insurance against fiat going to 0. This is their insurance. When you have insurance on a house or on a bicycle or something, you're going to keep it forever. And that's the hard problem. When 80% haven't moved their Bitcoin in 6 months, and then you have this flood of money coming in, you got this mismatch of demand hitting very decreasing supply, where people are not letting go. And again, I'm trying to say it in the simplest terms I possibly can. This thing, I have never, ever been anywhere near this bullish on Bitcoin in my entire life than I have over the last 3 to 6 months because of the data.
And we're almost there, guys. It's $170. We will be keeping an eye that's left to pump.
It'd be cool if we make 50K on this show, huh? We have to take a celebration. You can undress your microphone.
I will do that. I will address it. Okay, and also we have the largest weekly candle since 2021, like you wrote on Twitter as well. We
Yeah.
have Joe Biden. Now, apparently, this is this is not regarding crypto. I mean, some people say, but the thing is, maybe it will affect them because you see the engagement here. He's never posted anything that has this kind of engagement. But apparently, this is something with like Taylor Swift or whatever. I don't follow the Super Bowl, but do you guys know the details about this? Because it's one of the chatting topics people have been discussing a lot today. Laser eye Joe Biden.
Yeah, well, CTO, you go first. CTO, you're muted.
I was thinking, could it be like it's not him tweeting himself? I don't think so, right? It's some social media team.
The handlers is the handlers, guys. It's called the handlers.
Exactly. Do you think it could be someone on the team who is a Bitcoin fan, but he could never, say it or post anything like this? This is like a coup? You do like you post one rebel thing that you have some explanation. No, it's Taylor Swift and everything, but everyone knows that this exact thing is like Bitcoin, and it's like a silent cheering from a hero in the social media team on Joe Biden's social media team. Could be, I think. And if the hero is here listening, thank you.
Or
Yeah,
the other option is maybe he was hacked, because that's not the president account. There's two Biden accounts. I checked. One is what is it?
POTUS.
PTOS. Yeah, POTUS. Sorry. That's the legitimate account. This maybe is his personal account, or maybe there's another Joe Biden. I don't know. But we had two very good pieces of advertising yesterday for Bitcoin. I know that the laser eyes is like a 2021 thing, but the other important one I tweeted yesterday is Jack Dorsey, the former CEO of Twitter. We're talking a lot about Twitter today. He was wearing a Satoshi t-shirt, and he's there. So you have the cameras, the cameras don't know who Jack Dorsey is, but they know who somebody called Beyonce and somebody called Jay-Z is. So the cameras are on this couple the whole time. I don't know if you can pull up that tweet. I tweeted it yesterday too. But that was probably the most important advertisement for Bitcoin right now as well. So it was a good Super Bowl, $98 away. I can see Ivan's obsessed with there. That's the one.
exactly,
Yes.
exactly.
Satoshi. Yeah. They're drinking a lot too. There's bottles of whiskey and cognac and wine. Good Lord.
I mean, someone can correct in the chat, but I think the POTUS account is what's passed along. So, the next president, if that's a different person, they will have the POTUS account, while Joe Biden is like his personal account. But it has a huge impact. And yeah, fantastic.
We
And
are
price
seeing
is
some fights between bears and bulls in real time. The bulls are winning though. So let's keep an eye here, and we will break 50K any second. Also,
we will see a resistance level though at 50K. There are short-term traders that will definitely take some off the table, and it's like those typical layers are like a piece of glass. You got to hit it a few times before you break it, so don't expect to go straight through. And if we do go straight through, there's nothing more bullish you'll ever see than that.
And just to drive the point home about the ETFs and that the news when the ETF launched was just a short temporary thing. We are seeing right now around 10 billion in ETFs, in the 9 ETFs outside of Grayscale, basically overshadowing their sell-off. Or maybe it is including Grayscale, but the point is the same. It's a lot of inflows, not a lot of outflows, which is also seen by the chart. Oh, let's see, stop sharing. By this chart right here, on the daily inflows that we're seeing. Basically, Grayscale sell-offs have dried out fully. It's not even close. And likely what we'll see is that the inflows will start going exponential while outflows go to zero. Anything else to add on this, guys, before we go to alts?
Yeah, there is a small danger, and that is DCG, the Barry Silbert Genesis group that also owns Grayscale. They have 1.2 billion that will be hitting the market over the next 1 to 2 weeks. But the point is, 1.2 billion is now consumed by these 9 new ETFs in a day and a half. Okay, a day and a half. We had 540 million go in on Friday. In addition, what's very important, so people are freaked out. There's people saying, oh, the Bitcoin's going to crash because Genesis is going to sell. It's like, no, it's a nothing burger, everybody. Look at the numbers, crunch the numbers yourselves. In addition, what's also very important, oh my God, $40 away. That's a bit scary. Let's see if we can break through that glass fast. With this momentum, by the way, it could very easily happen. There's one other point regarding Grayscale and Genesis. All the money leaving GBTC, less than half is actually going into the new ETFs. So what you're seeing at the flow is the market consuming way more than you imagine. A lot of people thought they were just flipping their GBTC into IBIT or something at BlackRock. That's not the case at all. These are speculators. Oh, there's the resistance hitting down. These are the speculators that were in there for years, playing the arb between Bitcoin price and the Grayscale premium. Now they're unlocked. Now they're going off and they're investing in altcoins. That's my theory.
Holy crap, guys. Did you see that? It was 998. You got to keep reaching, James. The price likes it. It went to 998.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
So we're gonna break through 50K. I can tell right now. We're gonna go do it any minute.
Yeah.
As we're witnessing this, so Benjamin is speaking a lot about Bitcoin dominance, and probably Bitcoin dominance right now is mooning as we are seeing Bitcoin go for 50K. What do you guys think in general? Holy crap, 9999 is frozen at 9. Okay.
By the way, shout out to Benjamin Cohen. He is very, very, very funny. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, with the memes, exactly. Yeah. What do you guys think will happen with the dominance now that Bitcoin is in this bullish momentum, breaking all kinds of resistance as well, if it does break this one? What's your view until the halving and maybe Q2 and to the summer and until the end of the year for altcoins in particular? Let's start with you, CTO, and then we'll go to James.
Yeah, I have a chart as usual.
Let's pull it.
I think that we cannot really say that Bitcoin dominance has turned down. We cannot say this from this chart. Of course, this is not really a tradable chart, but if it were, this is an up move, and what we're seeing now, even though the chart has moved down, that's a flag. That's a bullish pattern. If this was like a tradable chart, this would still be bullish. It hasn't turned down really. So we can't, if we just look at this Bitcoin dominance as such, we can't say that we're in alt season per se. Of course, a big part of this chart is Ethereum because of the market cap. And Ethereum has really disappointed. It hasn't moved at all. So that's one explanation. So I'm in the same mode as before. I don't think you can have a shotgun approach and just blast on all the altcoins like you can do in the proper alt season. Then you can buy anything. And the riskier, the better, because those usually pump the most. I don't think we can say that. You have to be selective, surgical, whatever you call it, because Bitcoin is still holding its ground. And I think that if we now break the magical level of 50K, people start talking about all-time high again, the Bitcoin FOMO really sets in. And Bitcoin can really keep the momentum here and perhaps move a little bit higher. It has been even higher than this in the past. So I don't think we can really say that we're in full out alt season, but many altcoins have done very well, but you have to be selective about it. That's my analysis on this. Just one more thing. This is what the proper alt season looks like. Like this, it just looks like a waterfall. It just falls off a cliff. And it has happened many times, and it's not really what we're seeing right now yet. But I think it will come at one point, definitely.
James, what's your view on the dominance?
Yeah, well, the money flow into Bitcoin is extraordinary, and the hardness of Bitcoin is extraordinary, and 98% of crypto is a scam. So yes, dominance will go higher. It's logical. We could even, heaven forbid, see 60, but then I see a type of tapering off. By the way, Bitcoin did hit $50,000 in Coinbase live right now, and it's resetting back as expected off 50K.
Exactly 50.
The momentum is still strong. So yeah, dominance is interesting, but there are one of the key words the CTO mentioned: be selective. There are names that are absolutely smoking Bitcoin and have done so for the last 6 months, 9 months, 30 days, whatever time frame you look at. So, but yeah, the big mothership flies first, and then it runs out of steam. But the question is, will it run out of steam this time, considering all the money flow from the ETFs? This time could be very different.
Here we got the real-time evidence of support and resistance, key levels. Someone had a sell order at exactly 50,000 on Coinbase. That's why it turned there. While if this was run by mathematical formulas, 49,997 would be no different from 50,000. But there is still people behind it. Someone put a sell order on 50,000. And I forgot to say one thing before when we talked about the charting and the price of Bitcoin. We actually got the clue. Was it Wednesday? Yeah, because this is an inverse head and shoulders, guys. You can see left shoulder, head, right shoulder. And those often forms when big players are buying and trying to not move the price.
Yes.
They're trying to, buy as cheap as possible, and then they don't log into Coinbase and place one giant order because price is going to shoot up. It's going to get more expensive for them. So they try to buy slowly, not move the price, preferably talk a little bad about Bitcoin on social media, so maybe price goes down. They're buying slowly. And they were buying here. But then on the right shoulder, they start getting stressed. They feel, oh no, someone else is going to buy before me. I can't wait any longer. I can't wait for the dip. I have to buy the last now. And then they start getting stressed. They buy, price breaks out, and then all hell breaks loose and price shoots up. That's the inverse head and shoulders. That's why it's not some magical pattern. It's because it's people behind, people acting. They start panicking in the right shoulder, getting stressed, have to buy the last one. To hell with the price if it shoots up, and up it goes. That's what happened.
And the other word for that is called FOMO.
Exactly.
Yep.
Institutional FOMO. Big institutional FOMO is happening right now. Okay, guys, we hit 50K. We're taking off the mic. It is maybe not as exciting as you thought, but we're gonna get a new cover. Actually, I'm gonna get a new mic because I don't want this. I don't know if you guys have this like this. I have this XLR. I want a simple USB interface, and I think the mics are good enough nowadays that you can have simple USB.
Yeah, Ivan, trust me, don't go USB. Go XLR. Whatever it's called.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then I need another one extra.
That little red box, I got the same one here, and I got a preamp to raise my voice higher as well.
I have the same.
Yeah. Don't go USB. Once you're there, stay there. You sound great.
Okay,
but you can put your thing back on now because it does impact the sound.
Yeah, exactly. You're gonna see a lot of popping. Let me put it back. So all in all, we have the situation with the Bitcoin price hit exactly 50K. Someone had a sell order at exactly that price, but probably within a few hours is gonna retest it. We have altcoins. Some of them have been performing even better than Bitcoin. At some point, Bitcoin will take it easy and go sideways for a month or so. That's when altcoins are likely to run. Also, we have almost 4K people watching. Smash up the like, everyone, right now. Smash it up and lock in your smash by writing I have smashed the like in the comments. Lock it in, very important. Subscribe to James and CTO in the description. Also, lock in the subscribes by writing that you have subscribed. And on that note, let's go to some Degen stuff. We have seen this explosion of ERC-404, which is kind of like Bozo, which CTO discovered a few weeks back. And CTO, in your mind, like, will this continue running? We've had the Pandora doing all kinds of gains. Like, we're speaking about thousands of % of gains. It's fully new. I mean, obviously, when you look at like the sheet that you, James, have, probably it's not that great. All of these 404 coins that have come out. How do you guys see this? Let's start with you, CTO, as you discovered Bozo. Is this a short-term hype that we saw with 404 and this, NFT and tokens, and you can have an NFT that represents a bunch of coins, or will this be like a core primitive of crypto?
I think it's both. So I felt when I saw it the first time, oh, that's a good idea. And I went and did the video same day. And then we talked about it here on the DCA. That's genuinely a good idea. Guys can go back and watch it. But we talked about why it's a good idea, that it kind of solves the slippage problem. Don't need the trusted OTC desks and so on and so forth. And then what happens? Day after or something, some ETH guys goes and copy the concept, call it the ERC 404 standard, which is, seems more legit than something called Bozo. And then they run with it, and off it goes like crazy. So whoever it is, guys, watching the channel, I hope you enjoy the insights you're getting here. And yeah, but of course it's a little bit hyped. There are some differences that I think still the original idea is better than the modifications they did. But the core idea of having an NFT represent something like 0.1% of the supply, so that you can trade that without causing slippage on the price. That I think is a great idea, and I think that idea will survive. And that's what we said also from the beginning, that is a genuinely good idea. It's not just some scam or something like that. So that I think will remain. But if this ERC 404 implementation will be it, I'm not so sure. I feel that there's some downsides with it. And yeah, why is my voice higher pitched?
It sounds good. I saw it. I don't know what it is. It sounds good.
It's because I don't have my microphone. I'm in Spain at the moment. That's why the door here is open, and I'm in t-shirt, and I don't have my microphone with XLR or USB. So I'm just talking into the laptop here.
And James, I know that you've been focusing a lot on Solana altcoins on your channel. What are some of the gems that you covered that you like, which you feel that the average Joe does not really know about, or not deeper into Solana like you are?
Yeah, that was an experiment that I've been looking at since October last year, and it's done very, very well. But I don't want to be accused of pumping anything, but there's a few that have been really, really good. And I tend to focus on things like AI and DEXs, things I understand. Things like Bozo, I have a tough time with. But looking at, so one of the names actually is Pyth, which is the kind of Chainlink competitor from an Oracle perspective. Another one is Nosana, which is an AI, basically up and comer. I'm looking at a couple of storage tokens. And then a lot of the DEXs, there's some very cool things happening with some DEXs right now, like Fluxbeam, Jupiter, etc., etc. So there's another one, small one called Affinity. So I look at things that have adoption, things that have a unique value proposition, and things that have volume and traction. And with that, I compare them to analogs from previous cycles and say, oh, this is trading at 1/32 of the market cap of this. It looks like a no-brainer to me. So I throw a bit of money at it, just small money. But some of them have done 10x's already in a very short window of time. So it's been good. And I do believe the trend will continue. Like when you look at the ETH ERC 404 thing, it's a complete copy of what CTO discovered. And they have no originality, and they're just spreading layers upon layers. And I just continue to watch the drainage leaving the ETH ecosystem and the Arbitrum ecosystem and go to the black hole. And that's just what's happening. So we'll see. The winner takes most. It's just the way of the universe.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how long this new thing survive, which at first may not seem that, well thought through for the average person watching, just like... I always struggle to pronounce the name of this gentleman, but he's great. He's from Alliance DAO. So he said, technical criticism of 404 are valid, but they miss the forest for the trees. The beauty of 404 is friction reduction. Launch an NFC that comes with the native ability to list on OpenSea, so you can swap the bulked tokens as NFT without additional fractionalization at protocol layer. Basically, no need to invent anything new, nothing new to integrate, just NFC and token. And I felt kind of the same with BRC20 when it was just new, that it also felt like a bit shoehorned, but the numbers speak for themselves. Like when you see this kind of performance and volume and people want to trade it, normally these trends sustain if there are numbers behind them, and if people are trading it. And with BRC20s, it's now an established space with most exchanges supporting them, CoinGecko having their own category and so on and so forth, and also Bitcoin devs not trying to shut them down. That's when I flipped the bullish on BRC20, when I saw that no one cares about Luke Dash Jr.'s opinion within the Bitcoin dev community, because he wants to shut them down, but then no one else wants. So that's an interesting thing with in crypto. We have these things that seem weird at first, may not be really fit for tasks. Like BRC20, for example, it's not really fit to be a coin. It's some metadata on Bitcoin. Like they have shoehorned it to be a token standard. It kind of works, very crippled, but people love trading them, especially in China. They trade them all the time, high volume, and of course exchanges list, and then the rest is history. CTO, in your mind, what's on the new horizon? And yeah, if you have any more comments on this, well, but also what's like ahead for alts, you feel something new that you've discovered?
I think gaming, you talk a lot about that, Ivan. I think it's an easy use case. And things related to trading, I've kind of changed my mind on one thing, and that is we don't perhaps need to find another application. The best application for crypto and like blockchain technology is really exchanging stuff with each other, and that is all the DeFi and all the staking that came, and now different innovations in this space. I feel that that is actually still the number one use case, and this really fits in that space. Perhaps more innovations can come, right? When it always feels like all the innovations are already done, like AMM, automated market maker with Uniswap. That was a huge innovation, huge. Made it much easier to build real DEXs than when you had to swap between each other. Such a huge innovation. Then we felt that nothing can come after that. But then came this idea out of nowhere in some like meme coin. There will be something else. There will be more innovations coming. I promise there's going to be more innovations that comes out of nowhere. That together with gaming is still my bet for what sectors will drive this. Perhaps something related to VR, AI, and so on, but I'm not sure exactly what it is in that case. So that's my bet. But there is something related to timing. I thought you were going to say that. That's why I started talking, and that is Chinese New Year. But we will come to that later, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, let's do it now, because there are many things happening after the Chinese New Year. It feels that a lot of projects have paused a bit now, and no one is really doing a lot of announcements for now, at least, and waiting for the New Year to end. And you've worked and lived a lot in Asia, CTO.
Yes.
So maybe you can give us insights into the importance of the Chinese New Year. It's also the year of the dragon, and I don't know what that means, but probably super bullish as prices are pumping. And also this, I heard a comedian say from China himself, he was Chinese himself, he said that the Chinese, they love money. So, and when there is New Year in China, they say hope you get rich instead of Happy New Year, which
exactly.
Which sounds very good. But also, like, how does it relate to like trading? They have New Year, hope you get rich. Like, I hope I get rich, I go trading, I go to Bitcoin. Is that what's going to happen, or what do you think?
Exactly. So now we're at the beginning of the new year of the dragon or something. It's exactly like you said. If we have celebration in Sweden, we're going to buy a box of chocolate and some toys for the kids, and here you go, I made this one at home, and it's very thoughtful and so on. In Asia, no one wants the chocolate. You give money to each other. You give lucky money in envelopes, red envelopes. Here you go, Ivan, here is your lucky money. All your nieces, everyone get lucky money. And those money are extra lucky, so you should go and really use them well. You should buy the right coin for this money, because this money is extra lucky. It's going to go up not only 10x, but it's going to go up 100x. Money is important. People care about money. And now is a lucky time to buy because it's the beginning of the year. And, in in the West, we don't believe in luck so much. We don't, talk about that so much, but it's a big thing there in Asia. And now is a lucky time to buy with, so it could affect the price. Absolutely. And it's a big thing. It can affect the price. It could be one reason, together with the ETFs and everything, why the price is pumping right now, actually.
And there's another funny angle to this as well, because I look at markets, and through that you see different trends, and kind of like TA, Chinese astrology is similar. People believe in it, but they also take actions because of it. So the year of the dragon, according to Chinese astrology, is to bring growth and prosperity, which is wealth. And what the Chinese government also has planned for the year of the dragon that just began is a lot of money printing, which will bring growth and prosperity. So, like, literally, I don't know which one comes first. Does the year of the dragon bring that? Or does the government make the year of the dragon a prosperous year? We don't know. I think the government will light this market alive. So my thoughts.
Maybe that's what Joe Biden tries to tell us, that the money printing begin because election is coming.
Yep, exactly.
Global liquidity is gonna go up. Institution FOMO gonna increase. Bitcoin likely, if I am to dream a bit, likely to go to 100K within even this year. I think it is actually likely, because we just need to go to all-time high. It's not that far away. And then, like we saw last time, like once it hits all-time high, it teleports a few X's quite instantly. So all in all, Year of the Dragon, I love that. It's going to be extremely bullish. And on that note, guys, we're going to go to Q&A. So feel free to ask questions. We have 10 minutes to go. Now, I have a question which I know is going to be explosive. Let me see if I can find it. It was someone asking James to analyze the pulse chain from. He's like throwing a grenade and like lock the door. Anyway, some thoughts on that, James?
Yeah, I'm making enough enemies in the cryptoverse. I call out what I do. It's very clear. We build models that identify things that will not make you money. I'm not going to use a certain strong word, but all I recommend is, if you are the data is there. All right. You look at the data, you look at the way things are structured. It's very clear you're not going to make money on any of these things. Do we need another version of ETH, another fork of ETH? No. Do we need another layer 2 on ETH? No. Do we need Pulse Chain, which is a fork of ETH with far less functionality and features? No. In addition, what's very important, and this is the number one red flag, I wish I could turn this into a technical indicator. CTO, maybe you can do that. If you could analyze things like pump comments on YouTube comments and on Twitter and aggregate them up, the more something is pumped, the more likelihood it is a scam. It's that simple. Have you seen the same thing, you guys?
I mean, sentiment analysis and social media trends, it's very interesting. And a lot of people have studied it a lot. I have not, in the end, used it in my process, but I think it is possible. I have a friend who's actually done a lot of work with that. So, and it's shown, it is possible to use, but I haven't. I haven't used it. I kind of see it. I boil it all down to the price. That's what I do, because at the end of the day, if people are saying how great something is on social media, but price is going down, okay, it means someone is selling. Someone with a lot of them is selling, no matter what is said on social media.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's hard to tell genuine excitement from orchestrated manipulation on social media. That's my conclusion.
And that's the key, because I've seen both sides. Like, I've seen super annoying communities, and then nothing happens, like it just goes to zero. And then I've seen super annoying ones where it does work. Like I think the last one is probably Caspa, where people were so freaked. Why don't you speak about Caspa, man? Over and over again. And then it did like a 10x or something like that. I don't know how it's going now, but I remember that they were annoying like hell. And I know that you don't like Caspa, James, as well. I think you
Yeah,
said.
don't say that. They're a very toxic army. Like it's just
Yeah, but
everybody.
it's exactly like it's exactly like Ivan said. It's hard to conclusively use this as input alone because they can look similar and one of them works, it drives up the price, but the other one is actually fake. It's like they paid thousands of people to write that stuff, but actually the team or whoever it is, the whales are selling, and sometimes it's hard to tell this apart. Actually, that is my conclusion because I thought that this could be a key input, actually, like sentiment analysis on social media. Perhaps we can feed it into some analysis algorithm and really use that, but I found it quite difficult in there.
Yeah, but you can see it as clear as day in your comments. You see these new things say token XYZ. I hope that isn't a token. It probably is. So we're not pumping it. But you see comment after comment after comment from these fake accounts all over the place, all at the same time. And I make a list. I have a little notepad beside my computer. Whenever I see these, I mark them down and then I block this term in my community on YouTube so they can't spam my YouTube comments. And also to protect users, I also pay for a service that does the same thing as well. So if you find yourself blocked from my channel, message me somehow to get you unblocked. But most of the people never complain because they are paid scammers. So they hire these. It might be one guy with 1,000 accounts that pumps it across all these search terms, across all these different medias and everything else. And it's a red flag out of the gate. And it works very effectively. I should actually publish the list of all these scam terms and then show you the charts of all these scam tokens over the last 2 or 3 years. It's incredible. It is so precise. It's not even funny. If it's pumped hard, it's probably a scam. And when I say probably, I'm saying 99%.
Yeah. Good. Let's see, some paid questions right here. Okay, the first one is about all kinds of coins. And guys, ask about like if we don't know them, like I don't know them. There's all kinds of stuff mentioned. But thanks, Runation. Worth to invest into Polygon or wait for a dip? Well, Polygon has it even moved a lot. One thing for sure is that Polygon will likely to ride all of the narratives because they're adapting quite quickly to them. It's at 0.8. It's still way below all-time high. I know, James, you also don't like Polygon. you said that the CEO is like spread out in the thinking. But yeah, and I know that you like Solana instead. But
no,
anything else?
It's not about that. The problem is complexity. All right.
Yeah.
Everybody go back to first principles. Think of Occam's razor. If you don't know what that is, Google it. There's just too much complexity in layer twos. All right. There's not the finality you need. And the fees, yes, they're lower, but they're still not perfect. I just don't see a way out. And how many layer twos do we have? In fact, what's really interesting, Polygon has a lot of adoption and they were the early bird. But guess what's completely eaten Polygon's lunch? Arbitrum. You know, it's newer. It's a little bit faster, a little bit cheaper, I think. I'm not even sure. I've never used it, but that is taking a lot of the mind share and money flow from Matic. So, but then maybe in 3 months' time, there'll be another new version of a layer 2 on ETH, and that'll take share away from Arbitrum, etc. It's just too complex and it's too many.
But the way you see it is that over time, everything is gonna end up in Solana, and then it's never gonna leave. Because another way of thinking is that Solana is another one of these like platforms out of many. Because you still like in order to go to Solana, you still need to like buy on exchange and then transfer or bridge somehow. It's similar to like any other layer 2. If you think like it's another one out of many, but you see it more as it goes there. And then it never comes back, basically. So over time, everything is going to accelerate into it and stay there.
And just to clarify, Ivan, things will go to the best, cheapest, fastest, most secure most breadth of dApps with the best user experience. Whatever that is at the point in time will win. But the problem is the market changes so fast and humans have no loyalty anymore. People figure stuff out real quick. And you see, like I shared a chart, I think it was on Saturday. It was how Solana Art was number one a year and a half, 2 years ago. And then it became OpenSea. And now it's Tensor. Like literally in a year and a half, 6 months block here, 6 months block here, 6 months block. The users are so fickle and they move so fast. And that's what's fascinating. And that's only getting quicker and quicker. Humans are clever enough to seek out the best, cheapest, fastest solution in whatever space, whether it's a DEX, whether it's an NFT trading platform. And I'm sure you guys saw the same thing. Have you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Trends accelerate, and especially in this space where it's all software, it's like open source almost, a lot of building blocks. It's very fast to spin up something new. Very, very fast. And this will just accelerate. Absolutely.
But you, James, mean that Solana is an exception to that, right? That is gonna be able to be this, because you say it's a black hole, which means that the money is not gonna escape to other alternatives. And also someone asked about competition to Solana.
But as I tell people as investors, keep your tap dancing shoes on, because there could be a Solana killer around the corner. We need to be ready for that. And if it does appear, we need to be able to bounce to it as well. You should have no loyalty to any asset. Number one mistake.
Okay, but then actually we are very much in. I mean, I think we agree more than it feels sometimes, because I also think that, I mean, there's going to be likely some. Well, maybe you don't think it's likely, but you don't rule out the possibility. But in my mind, it's also likely that something else comes along because of all the incentives to create chains and stuff like that. But the only thing that would stop it is if like money from Solana is really hard to move. You know, new chain comes and like no one bridges from Solana into it. But then on top of that, you add some incentives. You add like Blur did with OpenSea. You can trade on OpenSea, or you can go to Blur. It's the same, but you get a coin also. And there's all kinds of things too.
Here I can challenge one thing. I think moving things from one chain to another chain is not difficult. You send it to Binance and withdraw another coin, or Coinbase or OTC Desk or something. It doesn't have to be completely decentralized solutions. So I feel that exactly like James said here, I'm pro innovation. The best innovation, the best invention is never done. You know, can something even better happen in the future? Yes, I think it can. That's been my thesis the whole time. Great things can still be improved. So don't marry your coins, guys, which is, it sounds like a joke, but in reality, it's very difficult. If you got in early on something like Solana and you bought with conviction, and it's gone up 100x, and you've gone from, you know, humble one salary to rich. You become rich thanks to this one project. You love that project. It changed your life. It's very difficult if the day comes. I'm not saying it's going to come now. I don't think it will come now, but it could come at some point in the future, maybe at even higher levels. When you become even richer, try then to kind of see what it is. That don't marry it. Don't love your coin, because something even better might come. And on that note, I can answer a second question here also. Estinosa asked, should I sell my wife? In 2023, she won a Miss Beauty contest. And no, you should not sell your wife. You should have sold your wife in beginning of 2023, in the beginning of an uptrend. Don't come now late in the uptrend and jump in now. Try to get in the beginning of the uptrend. Try not to FOMO in at the very end of each move, because that's the number one mistake that most people do. So 2 questions answered.
And the final one, James, about the shutdowns. How do you think this will? We discussed a bit last week as well that at the end of the day, the price didn't really care, because people mostly use it for trading. And the reason why I think it wasn't a big deal is because there was no DeFi platform or something else that blew up due to the pause and, you know, some liquidations because the market moved. So how do you view it? Do you think it's is gonna pass without any problems like this year, and they're gonna fire dancer? What's your bull case and what's your like bear case? Bear case, I guess we keep seeing this.
Well, first, I had my finger on the trigger They had the outage for 3 or 4 hours, I think, and it did go down, but the price only fell $2. I was like, I was hoping for an $80 or $85 entry. It never happened. And then literally within 3 days, it went to like a 1-month high. It was extraordinary. And the analogy I use, okay, it was the first outage in a year. They have Fire Dancer coming, which will hopefully make it fail proof. And the simple case people kept on asking me, how do you think about this? Well, I don't do dairy, and I go to Starbucks and I like coconut milk. If the Starbucks doesn't have coconut milk, which happens half the time, I go away, but I come back, or I go to another store and get it. It doesn't stop me from getting the same coffee, So I stay, and then I think that's kind of what we're seeing here. Yes, they had an outage. Yes, it was because of a technical glitch. Yes, they run this thing at breaking speed. It's like a race car. You've got some race cars that go around the track at 10 miles an hour or 5 miles an hour, and you got one that's going 250 miles an hour. Of course, there's going to be a run into a barrier or a crash or a tire is going to blow up. That's just how it works. By the way, Bitcoin's running back to 50K. Just want to mention that.
And we're above 4K viewers. Fantastic, guys.
Yes.
Thanks a lot for all the attention from you guys, and for smashing the like and subscribing to this channel, but also CTO and James in the description. Let's take a final look at Bitcoin. Let's see, 49.7. Maybe it will come back in the coming hours, but we're also out of time. Gentlemen, some final words on this. What's gonna happen this week? CTO, let's start with you. Exactly. What can people expect this week from the market?
I don't predict, I just react. But I think it's going to bump a few times at 50K. Some people will have some sell orders there, but it might break through. That would be my bet.
But then if it breaks through, it will teleport, or it will like consolidate, retest 50K. Like if it does break through 50, it's going to go to 70 in a day or 2 days, or what's going to happen?
I don't think, not that fast. I don't know. Overall, I don't know what the price is going to do tomorrow. Technical analysis doesn't actually predict price. It just presents with risk-reward opportunities. And at the end of the day, we can just react to what happens. But the fact is that the trend is up. We've only had bullish chart constructions. The grayscale selling has slowed down. We're entering Chinese New Year, and I forgot to say something actually. Something that's important that has to do with the price. Can I take 1 more minute and show 1 more chart?
Yep, absolutely.
And it's this one. Can you bring it up on the screen? It's the yield. The US government bonds 2-year yields. As everyone knows, this used to be a lot lower. And then yields went very high. And then I and many other people thought that this one might break down now. That yields might crash down. And that, at least short term, is probably bullish for speculative assets. So that stocks and Bitcoin and stuff pump up. But it hasn't broken down yet. The support is still holding. But I am certain, as we have talked about many times on this channel, at one point it will break down. The yields will come down. And that bullish event is still ahead. It hasn't happened yet. It didn't break down last week. That is still ahead. So we have a massively bullish event ahead of us still, which hasn't happened yet. And that is another actually positive sign.
By the way,
I don't know when it will happen. I'm not a macroeconomist, but at some point it will happen. I don't think that interest rates and yields will stay this high forever.
That's a good one. So we have some dry powder in terms of bullish catalysts with the yield.
Yeah.
But also, do you know what this 888 stuff mean for Chinese New Year?
Oh yeah, 8 is a lucky number. If you're born on the 8th of August, in the comment, congratulations, because a lot of Asian beautiful women will want to marry you because you're very lucky. If you're born on the 4th of April, I'm sorry, but no one will marry you, no matter how rich and handsome you are, because 4 the kind of is like means death is not good, but 8 is infinity. Like if you draw it like this, you will get infinite money.
Infinite
so
money.
888 is like super lucky. It's a lucky number, and this matters. Don't put your buy orders on 444,444. It's never going to work. You have to, put it on 48,888, something like that. 58,000.
4 is death, 8 is money, wealth, and 6 is health. And 6 is the most important one, in my opinion. Can you share my chart for 10 seconds, Ivan, and then we go?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay, the most important thing to look at here, everybody, the volume in IBIT right now, 16.3 million. Volume on GBTC, 4 million. There is a lot of money coming into BlackRock Bitcoin Trust today. A lot of money. I analyze it every morning. You'll see it tomorrow. Guarantee you huge money flow coming in today. Institutional FOMO is happening, ladies and gentlemen. We are going, you asked what the prediction is. We're going to smash 50K in the next 24 hours, most probably. And when I say the next 24 hours, that includes taking into account this money flow here, where they do T+1 for the ETF. That is massive volume. I watch this every single day. I haven't seen that much volume come in so early in the day. That's going to be 24 or 30 million by the end of the day. Okay.
Yeah. And listen, guys, if I'm to speculate, I think we're gonna smash 50K, then teleport towards all-time high. There we're gonna have a bit of a pause. If you look back at 20K when we tried to break it took a few weeks. And yeah, that's the plan. Obviously, we're just joking around here, like no one knows. We only can react, but it's fun to mess around a bit as well. And James, well, what about you? Give us some prediction, some forward-looking, unlicensed opinion, because obviously no one knows. But if you are to still do it,
first of
what's
all,
going to happen this week?
I have to admit, I was very wrong. My target for Bitcoin price at the halving, when it was at like 18,000, 20,000, was $42,000. I completely missed that. We went a lot higher, but I tend to be very conservative. Right now, given the on-chain, given the money flow, given the hardness, literally, I think we'll break 50K in the next 24 hours, maybe 36 hours. And then the move up to, as you say, the 67K, 69K could be pretty fast. To go from 50 to 70 is a nothing burger, especially given the hardness. And I think we could definitely see a new all-time high before the halving, maybe even in 45 days. And that's just because of the money flow I see. It is insane. You cannot take 15 times the daily emissions out of the system and not have the price go up. And for the first time last week, there was direct correlation between Bitcoin and Fidelity buying and the price of Bitcoin. That means the OTC desks are empty, which is an extremely bullish sign. So again,
100%.
we're just 3 guys on the internet. What do we know?
Exactly. It
But
is
we do know
great.
numbers.
It's great professional opinions, but they are unlicensed, because the only thing we can really do is to react to the market. That's licensed, and forward is unlicensed. Anyway, guys, smash up the like, subscribe to CTO, subscribe to James. Have a good week, and we'll be back next week on James' channel. So definitely subscribe. We are at 4.1K viewers. That's great, fantastic, and see you guys. Goodbye.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great week.
Thank you.